Hi everyone, it's me, Kat, and today we're here to talk some of my 2020 favourites. If you watched my 2021 goals, I did mention that February was going to be dedicated to doing the videos for my favourites. When I said that, I had the intention of splitting this into separate videos, and I'm actually not going to do that. Instead, what I've done is I've been extra selective and I'm just going to try and fit them all into one. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. So I'm going to start off with my favourite reads from 2020. And kicking off this list, we have The Book of Lost Things by John Connolly. This was, until recently, the book that I have had the longest on my physical TBR. I bought this back in 2015. It is now read. It is now read. Well worth the wait. And there's nothing more disappointing than finally getting to a book you've had on your TBR for ages only for it to be an absolute bag of shite. This was actually really good. I did genuinely really enjoy this. This follows a young boy who is dealing with the death of his mother. He lives with his dad, and his dad ends up getting remarried and they have a baby. And we're following this little boy whose name I have forgotten, David, who is sort of struggling to come to terms with everything that's happening in his life, and he starts hearing books talking to him or just whispering amongst themselves. He finds himself in a fantasy fairy tale style world, only it's the fairy tales that aren't quite as nice and pretty and happy as the ones that, you know, you grew up probably I won't say necessarily probably grew up reading, but I definitely really enjoyed it. It's definitely, as you could probably suspect, it is definitely quite dark. There is death in this, and probably more death than a 12-year-old boy should ever be confronted by. But I loved this a lot, and I'm kind of regretting leaving it so long, because I bought this when my dad died. I was drawn to it because of the content, because it was a boy dealing with the loss of a parent, and I had just lost my dad. So I kind of wish I'd read this sooner, but you know, I've read it now and I really enjoyed it. It was so good, guys. It was so good. Next up, we have audiobooks that I listened to 2020. First up, we have We Set the Dark on Fire by Taylor K. Taylor K. Mejia? And this is set in, I guess it's sort of it's a dystopian world. This is set in a world where there is this school that is whose sole purpose is to raise wives for the well-to-do bachelors of this city, country, place that they're in. And we're following Daniela Vargas, who is the best student, the number one Primera, that's it. Primera in this school, only she's there on she got there using like false fake papers. She is not who everybody thinks she is, and she is assigned to arranged to marry the most well-to-do bachelor. I think he's expected to be like the president or something. She is the first wife. And because these well-to-do bachelors get two. They get a primera, who is for public appearances. She also can help him with his work and stuff. They run the house. That is a primera's job, and Daniela has been. And then we have the segunda, which is the second wife, and their job is to provide the babies. Daniela is the primera for this family, for this man. And then we have Carmen, who is the segunda. Now Carmen, in school, was Danny's rival. So we have that relationship when they're assigned, assigned, that sounds horrible, and it is horrible. It is horrible, the whole situation is horrible to this man. But then we also have the revolutionaries, who are trying to break the system, pull this down, and Danny somehow gets involved with this revolutionary group. She has been, I guess, dragged into helping them get dirt on her husband and his dealings and things. And we also have a sort of budding romance between, I guess this is spoiler, but honestly I don't think it's that much of a spoiler. We have this budding relationship between Daniela and Carmen, once rival, and then it turns out that there's more to Carmen than meets the eye. And I enjoyed this a lot. I am not impressed with the cliffhanger it ended on, though. I do need to get to the second book. I've forgotten the name of it, but I've also forgotten who did the audiobook. I will pop that on. I will look that up, but it is good. I enjoyed it a lot. Then the other audiobook I listened to was Pet by Akwaeke Emezi. This imagines a future where the current system that we have has been torn down, changed, had a complete overhaul. We've got new people in charge, police no more, monsters no more, according to everybody, all the grown-ups. But we're following Jam, who finds this monster that her mother has painted climbing out of the canvas, telling Jam that there is a monster in her best friend's house, and so we're following her. And I'm sure she gives it a name, but I cannot recall for the life of me. It's called Pet. She calls it Pet. And this book, honestly, probably my favourite book I read actually in 2020, and definitely one of my favourites I've read of all time. I loved this book so much. It was so good, and it was full of so much love. It's good, and the audiobook is excellent as well. Again, forgotten the name of the narrator, but I will put that up. And then finally onto manga. We have Blue Exorcist by Kazuo Kato, and as of the end of 2020, I was up to date on the manga. It's released monthly, so I think I am a couple of chapters behind now. But this follows Rin, who is the son of Satan, the son of the devil, and he is on a journey to become an exorcist to take down Satan. And so he, with various people's help, enrolls at a school and starts an exorcist course. And one of the things I love about this most is that Rin is actually a twin. He has a younger twin brother, Yukio. Honestly, I can't really explain much about the actual plot of this, because what I love most about this, what I've loved reading, is this sibling relationship. If you've been here a while, you will know siblings are some of my favourite things to read about. I don't know if it's because I'm a sibling or what, or whether, it's a thing that all siblings get, but I love it. Like, that sibling bond, that relationship, going through shit together as siblings, I love reading it, and that is what this is on the extreme, because Rin has, like, demon powers. But Yukio does not. I like it a lot. And there's not really much more I can say about that, because that is what I love about it. Okay, so the battery died, and I think the lighting's gotten slightly worse. It's also, the camera angle is definitely off to what it was. I can't remember how far along was it there? Anyway, so next up we are, on the end of talking about manga and Blue Exorcist, I do want to mention another general favourite. This isn't a book per se, but it has to do with reading, and that is the Shonen Jump app, which I found out about through Tammy Tries to Read. She mentioned it at some point last year, and I had to obviously try it out. I think it's $1.99 a month, and I think that gets you 100 chapters a day. Obviously not everything on there is available for you to read for that $1.99. Like whole ass volumes you'll have to buy. You can't read like them in volumes. But if it splits the manga into chapters, you can read those chapters for free. That's how I read One Piece last year. That's how I've been getting through the Haikyuu series. It's how I've been reading Blue Exorcist. I mean, I'm up to date on My Hero Academia now. I've been contemplating a Bleach reread. That's how I read through D. Greyman, although they only have D. Greyman up to chapter 230, I think it is. The rest I've had to find elsewhere. Not that there's been that many since, because there's only like 4 chapters released a year or something like that. But yeah, so the Shonen Jump app is yeah, it's good. It's definitely worth the $1.99 a month I pay, because now I can keep up to date. I don't have to get too far behind. It's simple. The only thing I will say is that it doesn't sync between devices, or at least it wasn't the last time I tried that. I don't bother with that anymore. I do just read solely on one device rather than trying to do it for another. Also, there doesn't seem to be any way to like bookmark manga that you maybe want to, to read for later. But honestly, it's still great. And if you read a lot of shonen manga, which I do, like, I would definitely recommend it. Next, we're gonna go on to favourite dramas that I watched last year. And we have Her Private Life. I have spoke about this one. This was star Park Min-young, who's one of my favourites, and also Kim Jae-hyuk, who is another one of my favourites. And Park Min-young, her character she works at an art museum, like by day. She deals in art and stuff. But in her private time, she's a massive fangirl of this group, and one member of this group. She absolutely loves him. But she's keeping that a secret from like most normal people, apart from like her best friends. And then we have Kim Jae-hyuk's character, who used to be like a really like young talented artist, but then he just stopped painting, and he comes into the picture, and they end up having to fake date because she ends up in a scandal with this idol that she loves, and so they start fake dating. I know, fake dating to combat that, and it's I loved this so much. Like, this was so soft. This was such a soft drama. I don't feel like there was nothing hard about it. Any conflict that happened was dealt with swiftly, without dragging on, and I just feel good about this drama. Overall, this was just so good, so soft, and it was amazing. And then the last drama I want to talk about is I Am Not a Robot, starring, Yoo Sung-ho. Oh my god, I can't remember his name, and I can't remember her name either. But this is about a man who is allergic to human touch. I know, right? He's allergic to touching other human beings and them touching him, like skin contact. And he ends up being a tester for this robot, this android, who looks like a real human and is supposedly like very, very, very smart, and would be, it'd be nice for him because he lives all alone in this massive house because he can't be around other people. Only this robot, this android, is weirdly, creepily based on a real person in the drama, our main lady lead. So when the android breaks, the makers, the builders of this android, pay her to pretend to be the android while they wait for it to get fixed. And so it's basically her having to pretend to be this android in this home, and the relationship that starts to blossom between our leads, and it is painful. It is painful. I cried multiple times, I think, watching this drama. But again, this is another one that was hard. It was very soft, but it's hard at points. And honestly, I don't remember much about the thing that's happening behind, beneath all the, they have the romance, and then you have the plot underneath that's happening. I don't remember much about that. I don't know if that was important, because the relationship between our leads was just the it was so good. I loved that drama so much. I might rewatch it, actually. It was emotional, but I loved it a lot. I love Yoo Sung-ho a lot, though. I think that's his name. I'm sure that's his name. I honestly, I know I don't remember his name, but I'm bad at names, but I love that man a lot. He is when he smiles, my heart melts. Anyway, So that's for my favourite dramas. And then last thing I want to talk about is that my favourite games that I played last year. I'm going to start with a couple of games actually, going to group these together because these helped me a lot last year. And they are Dead Cells and Hades, which are both sort of like roguelites. I don't know the difference. I don't know if the difference between a roguelike and a roguelite matters. But if you say it quickly enough, no one actually knows what you've said. Basically, these are games that you are meant to play and then die a lot just till you get further and further. And just that, basically, that act of knowing that I'm supposed to die, you know what I mean? That act of knowing you're supposed to die. It's not because you're bad. It's not because the game's too hard. It's not because you're absolutely rubbish. This idea that you play through and gradually get better, or you get things to help you get better and better and gradually get further and further. And that just really helped. They just really helped me mentally, like with when I had like moments where I was just really down and restless, and just like putting on Dead Cells for a little bit, playing through Hades for a little bit. It was therapeutic. Therapeutic, I think, is the word I'm looking for there. They're very therapeutic. And so I think this year I'm going to have a look out for more roguelikes or roguelites. I don't know. And then last, I think, I could talk about Animal Crossing, but honestly, I think if you watched any of my wrap-ups last year, you got sick of me talking about Animal Crossing because I played it so much. But one of my absolute favourite game that I played last year, which seems so long ago now, it was a whole year ago that I got it, and it is Fire Emblem Three Houses. I love the Fire Emblem series. I've only played 2 of the games previously before Three Houses, and they were Awakening and Fates. Actually, Fates is split into 3, and I've played 2 of the 3 of them. I'm on my 3rd one now, but I enjoyed them both very much. And then when I got the Switch last year, I got myself 3 Houses, and oh my god, do I love that game so much. I love all of the students. I haven't played it all. I'm currently on the Verdant Wind playthrough, which is I'm on the yellow class with Claude. Just going through that right now. And honestly, I have to say that the Blue Lions is still my favourite. Like, they're my babies, they're my children, and I would die for all of them. But, you know, I like them all, I love them all, and it's just so good. Like, it's good. It's good. I like good, Catherine, good, words good. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. It's good. But anyway, that is it. That is going to be it for my 2020 faves. Again, I'm sorry it's late, but you know, I've just been like getting my shit together, trying to get my shit together. And well, here we are. So yes, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I will leave all my social medias in the description below for you to check out if you would like to see how I'm doing. I also stream on Twitch 3 times a week. I will leave the link to that in the description below if that's something you would like to check out. But apart from that, do let me know any of your 2020 favourites. If you don't know what to say or not good at commenting, go ahead and leave me a dragon emoji in the comments below. And take care, have a lovely rest of your day, and I will hopefully see you in another video. Bye!